Right now, I think we're going to move on to the second part. We'll have some interventions, I know, on smallholders here as well, and security. So, Anna, would you like to introduce our next speaker, please?
So the next case studies will be presented by Dilip Kulkarni from Jain Irrigation System, the president of Food and Agriculture. Within the Nexus, there is a major focus on increasing the productivity and efficiency of irrigated agriculture. While drip irrigation has been around for more than 30 years now, which are the enabling conditions necessary to expand its application? Dilip Kulkarni, if you could answer and present your case study.
I think we have been talking quite a lot on Nexus addressing issues, but what is required today is perhaps action-oriented program at the field level so that the ideas can be revolutionized at the bottom of the pyramid. You know that most of the water, almost 80% of the water goes in agriculture, and 30% of the electricity is used in agriculture. Now, what is required is produce more from less. And for this, we have to have technological interventions in the system so that we save the water, we save the electricity, and still produce more. And I think the solution is using the systems and devices where we save the water, like micro-irrigation systems. The case study which we presented clearly shows that we can save water up to 50 to 60% and increase productivity anywhere between 40 to even up to 200% if the water is provided at the right time. It is also possible to save electricity to 30 to 60% if we use micro-irrigation system, because the complete field is irrigated at one time go, as compared to the flood irrigation where it takes a lot of time to irrigate. Similarly, it is possible to increase the productivity of the crops, particularly those crops which take too much of water. If I give you an example of the state of Maharashtra in India, 90% of the water goes to 3% area where sugarcane is grown. And less of the land is mostly either dry land or depends upon monsoon. Now, the food crops, particularly pulses, cereals, if they are given a protective irrigation, the productivity increases or doubles almost. And from that point of view, I think if we use irrigation systems for high-value crops like sugarcane and cotton, it is possible to divert most of its water to the food crops, which can solve the issues of food security. Now, some of the places there is water, but there is no electricity to the farmers. And so they are not able to use water because there is no electricity available. Or even if electricity is free, it is not available of that quality. And that is why we require alternative sources of energy. And to have alternative sources of energy, one good important technological intervention is using solar pumps, particularly countries like Africa, where there is not going to have electricity in many of the parts for next 20 or 30 years. I think solar energy, in situ development of energy for use in farm, I think is very important. Today, the constraint of using micro-irrigation or for that matter solar pumps is the initial cost. Many of the governments, they have introduced subsidy components for providing micro-irrigation systems. Some of the governments provide 50%, and even some countries in some states, they provide up to 90% of the subsidy. I think this is very important investment from government side because we save a lot of water. And if we use these systems for high-value crops and save water for other food crops, then perhaps the payback period for micro-irrigation system is even within 1 year or at the most couple of years. So it's not a big issue if the subsidies are provided. Just to give you an example for solar pumps, the present cost of solar pump is something like $3,000 for 2 horsepower pump. Now, it's possible if we do mass production like what we have been trying to do is to provide solar pump in $1,000 US. And I think that is not a big amount for one-time investment, so that you don't have any recurring expenditure for next 20 years. And from this point of view, I think it's a good technological intervention for in situ energy production. These are the action-oriented program, and farmers are required to be given knowledge input through advocacy and capacity building. They are required to know how to use these modern systems for better crop productivity. Thank you.
Thank you very much.